Right, here we are with Tiptop Audio. You guys have got, well, you've got quite a lot of new stuff for this year's Superbooth, haven't you?
We do, we do.
So I'm going to hand over to Gore, who's going to talk us through, and I think we're starting with one of the latest Buchla recreations, is that right?
Yep. Let's talk first on the 200 series. The 200 series is a recreation of Don Buchla's 200 modules from the early days. And in this Superbooth, what we are showing is we're showing the 248 and the 230. These are two new modules that we have almost complete making. There are still, I would say the 248 is still in a prototype, and 230 is actually finished and going to come out soon. Now let's talk about what they do. The 248 is hard to explain because it just does so much, and it will take me a lot of time to describe it in details. But in general, it's a device that can be used to create functions, and functions can be voltage that is generated in multiple ways. It can be a curve, it can be a step, it can be switched to external source through one of those inputs. It's really, really complex, and the idea behind it is that it's well self-contained enough that it doesn't even have, surprisingly, a clock and a reset input. It's a really standalone device, and because everything is fully controllable, both the pitch, if you're using it as a sequencer, and the time, that you have full control of every stage in ways that you don't usually find in a traditional sequencer. Again, it's hard to describe, and I won't go in details through all the functions, but I will just show you a little bit. This is how you go between stages. There's a little switch here, and for each stage you can go and you can apply, for example, you can apply an offset of voltage. You can say that the next step is going to be either full range of voltage or a limited range with this switch. You can select for each of those stages to have an input used, one of those input A, B, C, and D. So I can go to this stage, number 7, for example, and I'm having this engaged. And now what's going to happen is that depends on where the fader of number 7 is, we're going to have that input passes in through. And when it passes in through, it can be passes on out to the CV out or the art out, or it can be used quantized. So there's basically like a quantizer built in to the module as well. There's two sections of outputs here and clocks. It's called the time multiplier. This is first section, and here's the second section. And both of them are feeding from the same set of faders. So there's a lot of polyrhythmic things that can happen here by reading those faders at different timing. And again, it's just a tip of the iceberg as far as what this thing can do, because explaining it in words just will be too hard to really get a feel for it. So later on, we will make you a demo, and you will be able to hear a little bit of some of the function in action. The next module here is the 230, and that's the triple envelope follower module. Envelope follower are a common thing in Eurorack. It's not something new. However, this is a Buchla design and original, and I really like it because I think it complements the system really well. It's very, very sensitive, which I always find very important in envelope follower, at least for my use. I think most people look at this and will say, oh, okay, I'm going to run drums through it or something, some external audio. That will be the obvious use. But actually, if you look in Don's schematic, you see that he's actually referring to this with output coming from the 292 low-pass gate. And that can give you an idea that it can be used with sounds within the system itself, and then maybe feed back to itself or going to other part, to another sound in the system. So it can be very creative, and again, it complements the system really well. And this module is going to be ready probably within the next 2 months. Price point will be 200 plus. yeah, we're not sure exactly. And the 248 will be ready around the winter. Again, if we're lucky, it's a big project. Price range will be anywhere from $700 to $1,000. We're not sure yet, but something like that. And yeah, these are the two modules from the 200 system. Moving to here. So we've been showing the Polyphonic system that we've been developing for over a decade. And it's coming to life, and it's growing. There's more modules that are coming. We have just recently released the first set, and that's the Vortex 6, the Octopass, the Octostages, and the Octogain. And this is basically a line similar to the PPG, the old 1980s, PPG synth. We use 8-bit converters on the Vortex 6. It's the original thing. Now, when you look at it, you're seeing different type of cables than you would usually see in Eurorack. These are called polytip cables. They are polyphonic. They are passing 8 signal. So you would patch it just like a normal synth that you would do in a Eurorack, but you would actually pass 8 signals between each jack. Now, this is really the world's first fully polyphonic modular synthesizer. And we're very proud of this, obviously. And maybe we can hear a little bit. Okay. Now it can be used just like a synth, just like I just did now, and that's all nice and beautiful. But it can also be used, in different ways. Let's open a bit the audio and see what we are getting here. Just like a big drone, and let's try to patch the output back to the filter onto itself. Let's see what happens. So this can get really wild and goes far beyond what the typical polyphonic synthesizer will do. And it's a lot of fun because you also have all the individual voices available here, so we can simultaneously have polyphonic going through the poly path and monophonic going through here. And then we have all these outputs coming here on the Octogain. We can feed them back to individual places. We can go to other areas in the modular. It's really, really, up to the imagination of the user to what to do with this. And it's great. I mean, we've been using it for some time now, and it's just wonderful in terms of both doing classic synth sound and using it for experimental use. In terms of what's the benefit, people ask us, like, why wouldn't I buy this? Then I buy, a standalone polysynth. The main reason is it's modular, and modular allows you to change things. You're not stuck with a box that everything is locked in there. You can flip the filter with another one and put it on those oscillators. You really create your own synthesizer with that. Also, as far as costs, you don't really need to buy another synth and another synth. Every time you're buying a synth, you're buying again the keyboard, you're buying again the box, you're buying again the power supply. You buy a lot of stuff that you don't need again and again. And the beautiful thing with modular has always been that you have something and you can switch just one module, and it makes a big difference. And that is especially true for polyphony because there's a lot of voices happening simultaneously. So changing a filter is far more dramatic than you would do with a monophonic Eurorack or standalone synthesizer. So we had a little stop in the video, and we're going to continue. And I want to show you Trax 8, which is our wonderful beast. It's a 16 analog oscillator sitting under the hood over here. And it's been patched to multipass, which is a new filter based on the OBX from 1980. It's a wonderful and classic filter. And we extended it by having low pass and band pass and high pass all simultaneously available and can be mixed. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of polytips over here. So this is really where it gets interesting. You can start to modulate them in all kind of ways. This is modular. This is where the fun begins. Start doing things that are not necessarily the orthodox way of patching a synthesizer. Maybe I can open up a little bit of the sound and we can hear. And we are hearing just the sound passing from tracks through the filter, and it's getting modulated by the Octo LFO over here. The Octo LFO has different rates and different phase and shape for each of the LFOs on the voices, and this is creating some motion in the sound. And we can start going a little more experimental here. So you can see that it's polyphony is not just about building polyphonic synths. It's also about the way we are patching and how we are doing experimental stuff and sound design. But we do it with a stack of a lot of oscillators and a lot of filters working in parallel. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the overview. Tracks will be released soon. We don't have a price tag yet. It's probably going to be around anywhere between $800 to $1,000. Multipass is available and going to be released, I think, in the next few weeks. I believe it will be around $550. And the last module I can show you is the Resonator. It's sitting right here. I won't be able to demo it right now, as everything is all patched here. But the Resonator is the one from the Polymoog from 1977. It's a wonderful and lush piece of hardware. It complements extremely well with the Polyphonic modules. When you run pads and drones through it, it just creates swirls of feedback emphasis from the filters. Wonderful device. Yeah, thank you for coming, Sound on Sound. We're always happy to be here and show you our creations.